When we begin these journeys and I'm recording, this becomes telepathic, not psychic. It's quite beyond that. Meaning telepathy is a pure form of communication through the hue, the omnipresent power. It's in the atmosphere of Earth, but people don't know how to connect to it. It's out in space. It's that whole black area you see in space images of galaxies. And these little galaxies create these electromagnetic fields like planets and Earths and moons to float in this other huge field of energy. That's actually divine spirit. That's actually what it is. People on Earth don't know how to co-create with it. They pray to it. That's not how it's supposed to work. They're supposed to be in conscious communication with this omnipresent power. And so when we go out in space, we're plugging right into the pure hue that's out there, outside of Earth's negatively impacted atmosphere. Because everything that's ever been done, and I have to mention this, by people to people, killing, torture, death, animals, mistreatment, and killing and slaughtering and all that stuff in ancient cultures is recorded in the atmosphere of Earth, inside the electromagnetic field. And it is not allowed to go out into the hue, out in space. There's no oxygen, but it's certainly not a vacuum. Because when you're out in space as an atom, it's a white golden light everywhere, and everybody sees it. It only appears black to the limits of human eyes on Earth, unfortunately. More advanced races that are human can see it, even with physical eyes. Never mentioned this to Perry before. A 4-stranded DNA human can see it. You know, they would see it pretty clearly, but when they're out of the body, just like us, they see it very well. Because they're looking at it then from the core of their being, the atma, not from eyes. So we get out in space where there is no negative nature, and none can be brought there. You can send a radio wave through it from here to a spaceship near Mars, but you can't program negative things in that omnipresent living force out there. It cannot be recorded there. This is a good thing, because the more advanced races from the stars that are human and many other races know how to work with that energy, which is not nuclear, not atomic, no molecules, no atoms, no DNA, no protons, no neutrons, no gravitational fields. It is the energy behind all things that float in it, all through the dimensions. So when we plug into it out in space, we're plugging into that energy which is brought down all the way from the ocean of sound and light, through Satnam, down through Turelian and myself and others, and then out around us in a field of energy that's a little brighter in the hue than the golden white light that surrounds us. So we're actually plugging into energy that comes from beyond the void when we go through these sessions. The reason that humans highly trained and much more ancient and older than people on Earth, because they don't age like people on Earth, do the implant removals is because they weren't born on Earth. They don't have subconscious minds, which humans on Earth are not meant to have, and they aren't implanted. They cannot be manipulated or controlled or influenced by people on Earth whatsoever. They're way beyond that. They do this of free will with me and I them because of mutual respect, because they know that I have the experience to do it with them. So they do this of free will, like Turelian or Satnam or any of them. And they do it because they see the potential in people on Earth that have long forgotten who they are. Long forgotten they were extraterrestrials out in the Galactic Alliance millions of years ago, billions of years, all the way through the planes. They know people on Earth have this potential, but they're subconsciously terrified to remember it. So we're going to go out and remove 3 secondary implants, because there are 3. They're in a triangle pattern in the energy field that surrounds the atma you are, outside the outer area of the outer golden layer. That's the outer area of the atma. It's the electromagnetic field that surrounds it out there. And it looks just like the field that surrounds the planet Earth. They're identical. Think about it. All things in space are round or spin round. Planets, moons, suns, and stars that make up a galaxy are round. They are made in the image of their creators or creator. Source, prime creator. We are source energy, individualized, and we are part of that source, and we are identical to it. It's just much bigger than we are. especially at the ocean of sound and light. So when we go on the secondary implant removal journey, we're plugging into that. And that prepares us to go on the group journeys much further. Because when we go on the group journeys, the only thing that people like Shantiel and Tonaltiel and Domtiam and Lamtiam and people like that have to do is just keep your primary implant turned off. The secondaries are gone. When they're gone for good, and they cannot be put back. They hold in place the primary. But once the secondaries are gone, then you have the ability to choose if you want to indulge in looking into the negative of that terrorizing thing, which was your experience, or to turn the attention off of it and turn it off. When the secondary implants are gone, you can turn it off at will. And that prepares you to actually sit in one of those white chairs and confront what was in that experience and make it a memory in a safe environment so that after that it never affects you again. It becomes just a memory. There isn't anybody on earth that can remove secondary implants or primary implants because everybody on earth is implanted. They have a subconscious mind. Political leaders, religious leaders, people in the UFO and extraterrestrial communities, they're all implanted. They all have subconscious minds. And the fears they don't know are there misdirect them. So this isn't the kind of people you want removing these. This is done by beings who don't have any of those problems and never grew up on Earth. This is why it's done out in space in the pure hue, not in the atmosphere. So they can't be done there. This is the reason we go out in space, and I don't do them. This is done by people like Shantiel and Tonaltiel and their associates. They're usually 250 to 350 years old, respectively, male and female, or similar ages. They don't age like people on Earth. They don't grow up on planets like people on Earth. They don't eat like people on Earth. They don't live like people on Earth. The difference is so great, it would shock people on Earth if they were suddenly exposed to it without proper preparation. So, with that said, that is telepathic. That means this journey has begun. And that means that what I'm sharing with you, you will never forget. This is Atma to Atma, not my brain to your brain. The brain can't imagine anything. The brain is not designed to imagine. It doesn't have a movie camera projection on a movie screen from one set of brain cells to the other so you can see anything. That's not its purpose. It is you. From the white core of your being, the Atma that sees and daydreams on Earth. Everybody knows how to do that. They know how to daydream to imagine going to the store and then their body just follows. The bodies on Earth do not run themselves. They need an energy charge. That comes from the Atma. So people are running bodies like masters, but dumber than bricks because they don't even know how they're doing it. It's just unconscious. They're supposed to be doing it consciously. These journeys begin to make that a reality for people. The ability to leave the body is as easy as breathing. The ability to imagine being near the ceiling right now where you are looking at that body, that's just daydreaming. Everybody knows how to do that. They try to complicate it and make it so hard that it's so esoteric. They think it's so difficult they can never reach it. So they create. The hue co-creates with them never reaching it. The hue is unbiased, unprejudiced. It supports all life and produces or manifests what we imagine, good, bad, or both. So we need to awaken our abilities to keep the positive and negative streams surrounded with each other in harmony, like the yin and yang symbol with the white and golden light flowing through it. So then when we imagine, it comes through whole, not opposing forces, which ground the energy into the earth and keep people here. It comes out whole, manifests things. The hue manifests what we imagine, especially when it's done for the good of all life, yours and everybody else's. But it only works best if you imagine for the good of all life that doesn't just limit it to planet Earth. A good place to start is by being respectful, which is divine love, for the beings that we're going to be introducing you to for this secondary implant removal journey. Imagine someone you love and respect, you're grateful they are in your life, a person, place, or thing, but something that makes you smile when you first visualize it. With your eyes closed, this turns off that part of the brain, doesn't allow any negative stuff from the atmosphere on Earth to come in and stimulate implants, for instance. But then the Atma, which is hovering above that body, that's you looking down at it, it begins to see in all directions out into the multiverse. Right now, Dontam and Lamtam are standing beside you, about 6 feet tall. They're great associates of Chantil and Tonaltil. They take turns. There are many others, and I'll have to introduce some more to some of the people on Earth. But these are the two that are standing beside you in a body form that's made of pure energy that looks human, about 36, long hair to their shoulders, galactic alliance uniform on. This represents the body they have on a ship, which I'm going to show you when we get up in space. They are two Atmas hovering above these forms. You look left and right by the ceiling, you realize they're right beside you. And then you realize you've got a body form that looks like you. About 36, perfectly beautiful, perfectly flawless, trim, special, just like them. And you realize with your implants turned off, you know how to do this too. Because you always have. The implants keep you from being aware of it. Now, they can't do that. Part of their service is to keep the primary and the secondary implants off till we get out in space, and they keep them off until these secondary implants are gone. And when they're gone, they're really gone for good. The process through the new, what we call the Hue expansion ray, moving through the cosmos now, is irreversible. It cannot be reversed. And because of the energy we plug into out in space, you're plugging into the you that comes from above the void, and it sees to it that you can never be implanted again. Ever. Never. No matter what. And that's the good stuff. That's the really good stuff. You're going to find that once they're gone, your IQ, your intelligence is naturally going to go up. And you're going to find that you understand this work, the books and everything, as if you always knew it, because you always have. The difference is that as you wake this up now and turn on more of your higher faculties, that's after implants are gone, that you've forgotten for billions of years. There's a wisdom that is imparted to you that makes it so you can never be trapped again, ever. This is one-way ticket. It only goes one way. Onward and upward. It cannot be reversed. This guides people towards being able to master what energies are in the lower worlds of time and space that have fear and terror and all that stuff in them too. But not just that, be able to master co-creating with others above the void. So you can help co-create this change. That's what this is about. You had the courage. Luck is on your side. You had the courage to be here despite implants. You had the courage to do this before your fellows on Earth have it. People in the United States are just starting to come around after 6 years of following my work. And they're starting to ask for these kinds of things. So I'm helping a few of them through secondary implants. But I'm not going to get caught in doing a whole bunch, dozens a week and all that, because it's just not possible to do them for thousands of people this way. So you're very privileged, you're very fortunate. We're going to head those ones in the US into group sessions. Perry's going to create English group sessions as well. We're going to continue to help the Thai people. We're going to continue to do these group journeys. So there's a lot of fun coming up. Got 2 more, gosh, I think just in the next 2 weekends, from what Perry tells me. So that's good. When you realize suddenly you are at 10,000 meters in the atmosphere, you look to the left and the right and you realize Dontam and Lamtam are still standing there. The spherical Atmas are still there. You're still hovering above the body that you're showing them. They're beautiful and handsome. So are you. It's always we show each other these pure human type forms so we can identify with each other. But they're always about 36 and flawless. pure projections of a physical human form from the Atma itself. Both the physical form, which has eyes to see, can see what's going to take place to your Atma objectively by being outside it and looking. So that's the purpose of this. Part of the purpose for it, anyway. And then you're suddenly in space. You're out in space in a circle of beings around Ambassador Turelian. This amazing being volunteers to be in the center of the circle of beings with his thumbs up with a golden light around. Now that golden light is brighter than the hue around us. If you look up, you'll see Satnam way up there standing in space with his two golden bracelets on his arms, and up behind him a golden vortex, the blue-green water around it, and on the other side you can see a pale blue light, and way in the distance, because you have telescopic vision here, you can see his fountain in his garden. And you can look upper and see the 6 mountain peaks of the U Expansionary Academy right from here. Because the energy he's bringing here from his hands comes from there, and you can just write it. You can look right through it. This bypasses time, space, gravity, and dimensionality, so that we go directly and can receive directly from that which is above the void, because there's no negative nature there whatsoever. And you cannot bring negative nature to the void or cross it. So when we go on the group journeys, we go on those journeys and out to other worlds and many other places. Okay. In space, Ambassador Turelian is always showing people a 18-foot tall, giant, perfectly formed male Adonis, like a Greek god kind of body, slightly pointed ears, blonde hair to his shoulders, beautiful crystalline blue eyes. He's got his 2 thumbs up, and above him is this beautiful Atma hovering there. And above him, Etta and Din, these beautiful, cute drens, 3 feet long, with their tails glowing, and the Atma's above them. Master teachers. Towards the earth, there's Ramu with his staff. Out in space, further out, is Master Opelum. Etta and Din come from his planet, Oceania. Then you're looking at your left and your right, and you see Dantium and Lamtium standing beside you. And then I'm a little further to the right, Perry's a little to the left. We're just there to be of benefit to you. I'm there to be a telepathic channel of what all these beings are thinking and doing, because I have learned how to speak it, and yet my body is in the trance state called sleep right now. I'm up there with you, just moving through the body. It's something I had to train all my lifetime to be able to do. I also have to know how to circumnavigate the multidimensional creation, which I do. How to go above the void, how to go to the Atma plane, how to describe things for people they've long been made terrorized to forget how to do it, because it begins to wake this ability back up in them. So I serve as a demonstration, like Turelian and others, to show you your potential. That's what I'm doing, mirroring your potential. When you look at space, it's this white golden light everywhere. There's a sound like gentle rumbling thunder, no lightning. It's uplifting, it's everywhere. It's the sound the physical universe makes, emanates from the hue. And it's that white golden light that little planets and galaxies float in. So space, the final frontier, is not the final frontier. The final frontier is all the way up in the ocean of sound and light. And that's many dimensions above Satnam's realm. And that's beyond the void too. So that is what galaxies float in. They create these electromagnetic field made of the hue that surrounds them, and it allows them to float in this other energy and be balanced between each other. And beings like silent mentors, you can see one standing way up above Satnam now, near the vortex, with a white gown on. Caucasian looking, but he's not Caucasian, just has ivory moonstone skin. And he has no facial features, long blonde hair to his shoulders. And when you look in his face, you can see galaxies upon levels. They live like this. This is a form he can show us that looks somewhat human, because if you look above him, it's this much bigger Atma, 4 times bigger than us, with twice as many teardrops in it. These guys are the mechanics of creation They run galaxies and planets and moons and stars in vortexes and doorways between dimensions. They keep the void balanced. Actually, that's Ogden Purusha's job, and we'll get to that another time. So you're looking at all this, and you're realizing that you used to know this billions of years ago. Truth cannot evade you here. You're in the middle of it. It cannot be kept from you here. No terrorizing subconscious stuff is on right now. So you are allowed to know it again. Give yourself permission. Go ahead. And then, Nantam and Lamtam point up, and you can see the Atma you are, because you have this human-like form, you can look at it, and you see there's a big electromagnetic field around it. Golden light, and it's moving. It's like the same electromagnetic field that surrounds the north-south pole of the Earth. It keeps it in place so it can turn and create gravitational field. Now that's all matter, energy, space, and time, molecules and atom stuff. Those are part of matter, energy, space, and time. The hue that supports it is not part of matter, energy, space, and time. It does not observe the laws of physics. It is the energy behind it. You are composed of those layers of your being of exactly the same thing. It's the way the ancient one or prime creator or source looks when we go on these group journeys. But it's much bigger than us because it's a focus of all atmas in creation in one place. So you can speak with this, but it's not an individual being. It's a nexus. What they call prime creator, people call the supreme being, is not some guy or girl or people with two arms and legs on a throne somewhere. That is not correct. And that source does not request that we worship it. It requests that we know and respect it personally. And then learn all the life in the grand multidimensional creation where atmas are running animals and plants and trees and everything. And respect it. This is required of us. To love a bigger God and play in freedom in it, we have to be able to know it. Or we're not trustworthy. You have the potential and can be and are trustworthy right now. We just need to expand this. So you're looking up at this Atma. And Dantam and Lamatam are pointing to it. Terrellian's holding his thumbs up, and you realize there's an energy connection coming from the upper realities through him to that Atma. It's setting up an energy so that when these implants are removed, it's permanent. It cannot be reversed, ever, by anybody, anywhere. Okay. Now you can see in this field, this huge field, here's the Atma. It's way out here. You can see a triangle of these foot-wide oval white lights, best way to describe them, connected in an energy beam between them through the energy field, but not in the Atma, because implants, nothing of any negative nature can be implanted in that which is not matter. But it can be put around you with terrorizing things in it, subconsciously, behind some of the best experiences you had out in the galaxy. So that if you happen to accidentally wake them up, because they're subconscious right now, you would look at them and go, I don't want to get rid of that. That was great. The problem is it's the terror behind it. That when you look at that image or attempt to, it turns on those ones around your electromagnetic field near your body, and that affects your nervous system, and then you're right back into fear, stuck on Earth. So we want those gone. Understand, the actual experience you'll remember is your experience. That's good. But the terror behind it will be gone, not the experience. And this is really good stuff. It's great. Okay. So Dantam and Lamatam are escorting you. Remember, you're the Atma hovering above it, and they're moving you up inside this field of energy that surrounds you. You're this physical form, much smaller, and you're moving it over to the left. It's 2/3 out of the way from the center of the Atma, out around the outer layer of the Atma, and it's just sitting inside there. You can see a little energy, a little white light connecting them in a triangle around your being, kind of at an upward angle, like here's the electromagnetic fields, 2 here and 1 back here, just pointing slightly up of the equator of your being. They're in all kinds of positions on different people, but They're in a triangular pattern to surround you with, when you try to look into the universe and know stuff, this terror comes up. It's subconscious. So you go look at a movie, you go do something else instead of waking up. Diabolical, but these things are effortlessly easy to remove by beings like Dantian and Lamtian, who are hundreds of years old. They don't age like people on Earth. They have an equivalent of 10 PhDs to a person on Earth by the time they're 10. They're photographic memories. They are telepathic. They don't age like people on Earth. They're part of the Galactic Alliance. They're also master teachers. Bear that in mind. That doesn't mean they put themselves above you. They're here to mirror your potential as a master teacher yourself. They see this. They know fear is in the way. So it gives them great joy to do this. They're moving you up near this white sphere, up in the 2/3 of the way out on the left side of that energy field, the electromagnetic field, which is the hue. Yes, they can be put there if they're your experiences, twisted behind them. So you're fixated on trying to look at them, can't see them, they're subconscious, and then you get negatively affected. That's the trap. So now, Dantian's reaching in, Lamtian's reaching in right into your energy and lifting it out. And the hue in the electromagnetic field sorts itself out. And there's a little ping tone that you hear that comes out of that electromagnetic field. That's coming from Ambassador Trellian. It's a little ping from Satnam. It's a little, this is done. Here's the wisdom that goes with this. That's what that sound, that ping, like a little glass chime being hit with a little hammer. And that's interesting. And then they bring it up to your face so you can see what's in it. And then they touch it. It's just floating there. Turn it on without the negative effect behind it, the subconscious thing. And you see this beautiful, like, they look like, what's that flower that blooms and stays bloomed a long time? Not tulips, orchids. They look like violet and pink, green and blue orchids, like 4 feet high. Bunches of them in a circle around a little waterfall in a bowl made of marble, like marble stone that's glowing. The water in the bowl is glowing, and the leaves on this orchid plant are luminous. Many plants and water on other world systems that are normal have these luminous properties to them in the physical universe, on physical planets out in the galaxy. They're not like Earth. Oceans on a normal world like the one we're visiting now and looking at, that was once your life, aglow about a foot above the water. So do waterfalls because they're charged with the hue. People bathing in that never forget their connection. So it's like the way worlds were meant to be. But they are like that out in the galaxy, but not poor Earth is not like that. The energy of the hue and the H2O that make up Earth's oceans is depleted. Except around the equator where there's a little bit higher charge that makes people feel good, but it should be glowing. 8 billion people thinking fearful thoughts depletes that into the core of the planet, including their own energy, and they stay grounded here. It's quite a nasty thing. So, you're looking at these orchids, and you're looking out at the countryside, and you see a lake. It's a blue-green lake, and it's maybe, 10 miles around. And there's a surrounding teardrop-shaped bay with a little inlet. And out further, you can see this blue-green ocean out there glowing. Now, this is a planet that has 3 suns, a blue one, a yellow one, and a great big giant red dwarf way further out. And it's a planet that you were on some time ago. It's between here and the galactic core. And you're a woman of about 20. You're just standing there in this pretty silken-like flowing thing. Your bare feet. You're walking on this blue and brown glowing moss-covered grass. And you're going over and smelling the scent from these orchids. And it's beyond description. It's like gardenias and lavender and all kinds of things. But there's a nectar inside the stamen of these plants. And you can sip that by tipping one of them in, and it's this nutritional glowing energy goes down your throat. It tastes like it smells. This is not stuff on Earth. These are charged. They're full of H2O with charge in them. So this is one of the other reasons why bodies don't age on those worlds. The other one is they've mastered the science of genetics. Genomes on the DNA, over a billion of them in humans, have the telomere on each end that shrinks every time cells divide. In their four-stranded DNA, cells do not shrink when they divide. And they don't overpopulate their planets either. So this would not be a good thing for people on Earth unless the overpopulation and unconscious problem with people on Earth is first fixed. So this is a normal planet. You've already lived on one, probably on a number. So then you look out, you take a big breath of pure air that has no negative nature in it. And a boy and a little girl run up to you and hug you. They have slightly bigger eyes than humans. These happen to be kind of a slightly brown, ivory, kind of a brown tone to them. You got a daughter with green eyes, a son with beautiful brown eyes, and you have kind of blue, sky blue eyes. They're a little bigger than people on Earth. And you're very happy. This was a good experience. There's nothing negative about it. You lived 3,000 years maybe, and then went on to other things. No big deal. But it's what's been used against you behind this by tyrants who caught you and put you on Earth and blah, blah, blah. And it's full of torture and death and will kill you, will eat you, will do this, will do that. But in secondary implants, those are not your experiences. You didn't have them. They're made up. They're implanted there in a holographic image that turns on when you look at the good image. And since it's made terrorized, it becomes subconscious so that you're not aware that it's influencing you. So you don't want that there. You're not going to lose the memory because now understand, this memory is conscious. It's not subconscious anymore. So Dantian just flicks his fingers at this thing and it disintegrates it. This white sphere of light, this oval just goes into the white hue, golden hue around us and is gone permanently. Now we're going to move up to the one on the right side, 2/3 of the way out. Always 2/3 of the way out for some reason. It's a basic energy, so when you try to look at it from any direction, you get misguided. You can't remember what you used to know. So they're moving you over to the right side of your being, this human-looking form, and they're reaching with their hands and pulling this out, and it straightens itself out, and then they're bringing it up to your face so you can look into it. They're asking you to send a hue into it to turn it on. They're also touching it to help out, but they want to keep the negative part turned off. You look into it, and you realize that you're walking along a kind of a green stone pathway, like set with these blocks of marble stone, like marble. And it's curving through these beautiful, the trees look like an apple tree, but the bark is blue. And it's luminous. The water, remember, is luminous. So the leaves and stuff in plants, they have a glow to them like a firefly. And the leaves are different colors, blue, green, red, orange, violet, in one tree. And there's this fruit hanging from them. It's like a canopy of leaves, almost like a weeping willow tree, but just about halfway down the tree. And it's got these even branches that come out. There's a couple of children up in the branches laughing and waving at you. You look to be about maybe 40 here, but that would make you about 1,500, 1,800 years old. Pretty cool stuff. Your kids are a lot older than they look. These children, if they're yours, I don't know. But there's a very happy scene. And there's an orchard of these trees. And this blue-green marble stone goes off into the distance, and then you see a clearing. And in the clearing is a pool, or more like a teardrop-shaped fountain. And it looks like it's made of a clear crystal. And it's supported by a clear crystal stand, like an oval. And you go up and you're walking up to it and you look down into it and you can see that it's a kind of a device that turns on and you can see your home, which is a spherical dome near 3 pyramids out in the countryside with flowers and gardens all around it. So you're able to communicate through this from there to where the home is, which is halfway around the planet. This is kind of a park you've come to. And on the other side of this teardrop is a curved archway with a sheen of luminous blue-green light in it. And you can walk up to that and put your hand on it and walk through it. And you come out of another one out in the garden by your home. Now, this is standard operating technology for the Galactic Alliance, by the way. Way beyond what people on Earth know. People know on Earth know it's possible. They just don't know how to do it. To do it, you have to know how to work with the omnipresent you. The living spirit, people with the divine spirit that's out through the whole multiverse, out in space. We have to know how to co-create with it in order to even have anti-gravity work. People on Earth have made it reverse engineered to work, but they're not allowed to fly outside the solar system. Earth is quarantined. It's to protect us from tyrants that are corralled and kept controlled now and being changed as we speak. Because they were moved out of Earth 25 years ago. Little grays don't abduct people. Reptilians aren't in bases. That's all gone. We might as well bring you up to present time. They are not here. They were not removed by classified people. They didn't know how to do it. They were trapped. It was done by the Galactic Alliance. And a long time ago, and people are still living in the past about this. It was done so that this preparation for this change on Earth can take place. The poles of the planet used to flip every 100,000 years. The being I described way up above Satnam is the top silent mentor. Why would he come all the way down here and look at us bunch of yahoos? Must be a reason. That has to do with what's going on in the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. That is above Satnam's realm. We'll go there on group journeys. Why? Because you came from there and further originally. So you might as well remember. Right? I think we have one more to get rid of. Is that right, Perry? One more. And it's up high. It's up here in the field around your body. So you're up there now looking into it. And this one, these third ones, some reason, they seem to be experiences where people are playing with what on Earth people call pets, animals, because people on Earth don't respect them. They love their own pets, but they don't understand that Atmas, just like you, are running those animal bodies. They have pineal glands. So Earth is in big trouble because animals are slaughtered for food in the billions all over the Earth. And this keeps people kind of bound to the Earth because it isn't what they should be doing. That is the nature of tyrants. So I don't ask people to be vegetarians because I tell them, as you progress, as the implants are gone, that will happen naturally. You can't force it anyway. Don't try. It will come about naturally, as it did with me and others. The wisdom to know how to eat instead of eating the way you were brought up on this earth comes along with that awakening. It becomes pretty effortless, really. This frees you from what people call karma, an unconscious reincarnation. It's required. Remember I said that beings on other worlds far more advanced than people on Earth don't live like people on Earth? They don't. The quarantine around the solar system is there to protect us from tyrants, which are really not anywhere near our solar system now, and from us, from the Galactic Alliance, because the most dangerous people right now in the universe are the people on Earth. 60 countries don't get along, at war. religions fighting each other, politicians making decisions based on fear. They're always incorrect and always destructive because fear is negative. Therefore, the hue creates negative repercussions in space-time. To fix that, because people on Earth are not capable or aware enough to do it before ruining this planet, it has to come from the greater God from outside Earth. This is what people on Earth don't yet realize. And they're willing to do it. One of the things that's going to happen on Earth is governments will be inspired to give up nuclear weapons and radioactive materials. They're only destructive, and they are outlawed in space. So you see the solar system's quarantined. Doesn't matter how much reverse engineering people do with anti-gravity technology on Earth, they're never going to be able to play among the stars until they can be invited into a greater alliance of worlds. And this means they cannot be operating from fear, competing with each other to steal their people's property in space. That's like a train running at 90 miles an hour into a brick wall. There's never going to be a Star Trek out there with radioactive warp cores. That's Star Trek, and they're fun to watch, but that's not the future. They don't use that kind of technology to get around the stars. It's anti-gravitic. It is not powered by radioactive isotopes, man-made and perverted to make bomb-grade ore. How stupid can people be? Well, if you're implanted, pretty dumb. If you're not implanted, pretty smart. So this is taking place out here. And they're moving you up into this thing, and you're looking into it. And you're seeing now 3 animals sitting in a triangle. You're on a violet-colored grass, and there's a green grass around that, and it forms the shape of a, how do I say it? A 5-pointed star. It's pretty cool. And each section of the star is a different colored grass, and they're luminous, and they're emitting a tone because they make a sound, because the grass is conscious. It's part of the hue here. And you're sitting in the middle of this thing in a meditation. You're about 20 years old. Long green blue hair to down below your shoulders. The eyes, when you open them briefly, are oval, and they have a green fluorescence to them, almost a light. The skin color of your trim face is kind of like how do I say this? Do you know what a light blue moonstone looks like? Well, it looks like that. It's very pretty. And so you're sitting there, and you're a human, but you're not from Earth. You're another. You can see that out there you have. This is midday. The atmosphere has a pale pink color to it, and you can see 3 suns way out there. This planet is orbiting 3 suns. It's a trinary system. Most of the suns out in our galaxy are binary, trinary, 2 or 3, not like our one sun. And that has an effect on human DNA and other things to evolve those forms much higher. That's why these planets, like the one you're on, have no polar ice caps. Interesting, isn't it? So this is a life where you are very advanced. This meditation you're doing is working with the hue. And you're seeing a beam of light go up from you all the way through the void. And it's connecting to a single mountain. And where that mountain is up in the upper worlds above. It's actually in the 6th plane above the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. So you were making inroads to this back then. That was some time ago. Good life, good time. And behind this image that's used against you is this terrorizing fear and torture and death. So what Dantium Lambtim doing is placing this oval sphere of light with this image in it in your hands. And they're asking you to send 3 hues out to it. One level, one on a little higher level, one a little higher level. and then they're doing it, and this thing disintegrates and turns into like a little ball of light and dissolves into the white golden light around us. Now, when you look at that field of energy around the Atma you are, there's nothing in it. The primary implants are pyramidal shaped, four-sided golden with a quartz cap on the top pole of that electromagnetic field, outside and above the outer layer of the Atma, and one pointing downward below it. They don't go through the Atma, they connect through the field. Those are turned off, but that contains your real death and torture that puts you on earth, one way or another. When the time is right, you will have the courage to sit in one of those white chairs with these people and more advanced ones, and they will help you see it and relive it, but safely, and it become a memory, and then that will never affect you again. That will come about when you co-create it, when you're ready. So I would suggest, now that these are gone and they cannot be reversed, that you send out the hue every night before you put the body to sleep, and ask for the names and name some of these beings. It could be Ramu or Pelham or Eter and Din or Shantil, Tonalty, Dante, and myself, Perry. You can call on Ambassador Torelli and Satnam, even the top silent one. Now, they don't normally interact with people down here. They're here to observe. But they do interact with us when we go to the Hue Expansionary Academy, above the void, above Satnam's realm. That's where we can meet with them and gain benefit and offer our benefit to them. So there's a new experiment going on under there right now. When you find yourself back above your body, hovering, looking down on it, you know Dantam and Lamtam are right there. Still there. The primary implants off, the secondary implants are gone. They're gone forever. You only need one journey like this. You don't need 2 or 3 secondary implant removal journeys. That's not necessary. This is why after that you go into the group journeys, because then you're going to gain back the use of higher faculties that were turned off or shut down long before you ever got implanted and put on Earth. Some going back billions of years. Those journeys help you recover those. There's a white golden light coming down through the roof of your home, down through you, through Dantam and Lamtam, through the electromagnetic field that's quite large around your body, not like a little aura. It's through the outer area of the Atma you are, and it moves through you gracefully. There's a little ping again, that tone from source. And then it goes out into 2 or 3 pyramids on Earth's deepest oceans, one in each, and one inside a hollowed out interior in a mountain, the Himalayas, which are on Earth and running. There are fountains in them. They have an image of Satnam standing in them. That's a device. They're not made of matter. They can be seen by classified people, but they can't do anything with them. Nothing. It moves out through the planet, goes out into space. It goes through a big pyramid station between 2 stable asteroids in the asteroid field that circles in the orbit of what was a planet between Mars and Jupiter. And it goes out to other pyramids, and then it goes to the galactic axis of the Milky Way galaxy up the white golden light and returns to source, and it never stops moving. It's moving through you for your benefit and for the benefit of all life, not just life on Earth. And so you're now becoming a co-creator to help solve the problem of retiring the old failed experiment of good and evil, not just on Earth. This is what's underway now. You're part of it. So when you're ready, open your eyes. I'm glad you could do this in English. Gave Perry a break, too. She gets to see all this stuff without having to do the work, which is good benefit to her, too. She deserves it. So remember that this is not something that can be reversed. It's one way. The Hue expansion ray from the upper worlds flowing through the omnipresent Hue now only works one way. It can't work backwards and up and down and be fickle and sideways and schizophrenic. No. It's onward and upward from here. Okay? And then just call on these people. But before you go to bed at night, send out the Hue. I do it every night myself. Hue, hue, hue. I do this stuff. and I talk to these beings and I connect with them, then I put the body to sleep. Otherwise, they're going to wait until you have the courage to ask them to help you. So you got to do your part. Okay?
Yeah.
My pleasure. Instead of this way, which is backwards on earth, we're doing it this way. Onward and upward. Because it's the only direction we have to go now, fortunately. It's been my pleasure, Luck. Is it Luke or Luck? How do I pronounce it?
Luck.
Luck. Okay, Luck. Well, you're very lucky, Luck.
Yes, yes.
Okay, I'll bring this recording to a close.